What is good, horror horde? This is your boy Horror Gamer back with another video for you. And as you can tell by the video, this is an open discussion of the new up and coming Resident Evil 4 remake. So, what are your boy Horror Gamer's thought processes on this remake? Well, for one, you know your boy Horror Gamer loves Resident Evil, everything Resident Evil. So, for that, I'm super excited. Now, do I think that Resident Evil 4 should have been the one that was remade this year? No. Why? This is the only reason why I'm saying this. Because Capcom has literally milked Resident Evil for like everything it's worth. Resident Evil 4 is Capcom's cash cow. Like, it's literally been on every system. It started off as a Nintendo GameCube exclusive. Then it went to the PlayStation 2. Then it went to the PlayStation 3. Then it went to the PlayStation 4. Xbox 360. Xbox One. Nintendo Switch. Like, you get the gist here. Like, the only system it didn't come to was the PlayStation 1 and the OG Xbox. But it's literally seen every generation of new consoles since, you know, and it's a good game. Like I said, don't get me wrong, it's a good game, it's a solid game, it was a solid story and everything, but do I think it needed a remake? Not at this time. I think they should have either done Code Veronica or they should have done a remake of the original remake of Resident Evil, like in the Spencer Mansion with the over-the-shoulder view with, you know, Jill and Chris. Like, that would have been, like, legit. Like, that would have been fucking epic. I could see Resident Evil with the RE engine. Now, I know that a fan-made game is coming out later this year, but I would have loved to have seen big production Resident Evil 1 remake game. And, like, I love that they're doing the remakes because I love that they're going in and they're giving more TLC to the games. Like, Resident Evil 2 was my favorite video game of all time. And when they came out with the remake, the Resident Evil 2 remake didn't disappoint. It was on point. Now, was it as good as the original? Nothing's as good as the OG, in my opinion. Like, Resident Evil 2 OG is my favorite video game of all time. Not just favorite Resident Evil, favorite video game of all time. And I've played a lot of video games, you know. You know your boy Horror Gamer is also a huge Halo guy. I like it better than Halo. And when they came out, when I heard they were coming out with the remake, I was so pumped. I was like, all right, here we go. And then when I played the remake, I was just dumbfounded by how amazing it was. But it's still, just by principle, in my opinion, wasn't as good as the OG. A Resident Evil 3 remake came out. Great game, in my opinion. But I did hear that they pulled out a lot of shit for the remake. And see, here's my thing. I never really sat down and played Resident Evil 3 from beginning to end. So when people are saying this was taken out or this was taken out, I have no clue, you know, what it is. I mean, I've watched the playthrough on YouTube, but I've never experienced it myself. But I never really got through the whole playthrough either. So that's something I need to go back and actually experience for myself. You know, and then now we have the Resident Evil 4 remake coming out, which it looks good. It looks like they're going to kind of step back from the action and make it scary, which I like because, listen, back in the mid-2000s, early to mid-2000s, we had some bullshit happen with our Resident Evil. It ended up turning into action for some fucking reason. I mean, let's be honest. You know, Resident Evil 4 started the whole action-oriented Resident Evil. I mean, even though it was still kind of scary at the beginning, towards the end of the game, it became more action-oriented. And then we had these fucking debacle Resident Evil movies that were just kung fu movies with zombies in it, let's just be honest. Like, it was a mix between, you know, fucking kung fu movies, Fast and Furious, and zombie movies all rolled into one. It was action. Like, no. And then we had Resident Evil 5, which was a great game, but it was more action-oriented than it was scary. And then, Resident Evil 6 was just fucking quick time events the whole game, you know what I mean? So for them to, what it looks like, kind of retract that action, I'm excited for, because that's what Resident Evil was about. Like, you look at the original 3 Resident Evils, then you even look at the remakes of the original 3 Resident Evils. Even though Resident Evil 3 remake kind of there got a little actiony, it still played on the, lines of horror. But, the original Resident Evil remake, the slow-paced, just trying to survival horror, bullets are not plenty, you know what I mean? Health items are not plentiful. You're trying to survive. You're trying to get out of the mansion alive. You go solve puzzles. You have to conserve ammunition because you don't know what's behind the next door. Shit like that. And the score in these games were just, the first 3 games' score alone was just amazing. Like, especially like your remakes, because they had like a deeper, darker tone to them. Now, Resident Evil 2 soundtrack was really good. It was just, you feel the dread, like when you walk into the RPD and you have that big panorama view of like the statue and the hall, and you just hear that music for the first time. It just takes you back. And that's what Resident Evil was about. It was about the loathing. It was about the dread. It was about the survival. Then comes games like Resident Evil 4, where bullets are a little more plentiful. Enemies are dropping bullets left and right. Leon is like a kung fu master. And stuff like that. And like I said, it still kind of stayed scary towards the beginning, kind of creepy and eerie. But as it progressed, and as you progressed through the story, it kind of became more action-oriented. And then, like I said, 5 was just action-oriented. It's 6, Jesus. Quick time event. It should have been called Resident Evil Quick Time, because that's all you did was just quick time event, quick time event, quick time event. But I like what I'm seeing right now with the 4 remake. But like I said, should it have been made now? I don't believe so. I think they should have waited a little bit, and they should have went with something like Code Veronica, or like an OG remake of the OG remake, because they could have done. They can, with the RE engine, they could do so much. And like I said, just to see the Spencer Mansion in RE, and the new RE mechanics, it would be phenomenal. But with all that being said, I'm not saying I'm not excited for the new Resident Evil coming up, because there's a lot of leaks as well. I mean, they're saying there's going to be like 2 or 3 stalker characters, that the Big Cheese is going to stalk you through his house, that they made his mansion bigger so he can stalk you through it. That they're going to add the dodge and block mechanic, which it could still add a little bit of an action-y tone, but it's useful in certain situations. Dr. Salvador, they say, is going to be kind of like a stalker character, and him alone in Resident Evil 4, every time you fucking heard the chainsaw start, made your nuts climb into your throat. So now, imagine that, but as a stalker character. You'd be walking around, all of a sudden you hear the yeah. So they got a chance to make that fucking terrifying. The regenerators are going to look a little different. Luis, they're saying that he might not even die in this story, which we'll see. His death is a big plot point in the OG Resident Evil. But we'll see. There's a lot of stuff going around. You got to take a lot of stuff now with a grain of salt, because you just don't know. We are all in the dark right now about this new Resident Evil 4 remake. We only know what they are telling us, what Capcom's telling us. Now, other things, it's speculation. People trying to get, their names out there to get likes on their posts or whatever. we just got to wait and see. March 24th, 2023. You know, it's going to be here soon enough. I mean, my God, we're already almost in the middle of September. You know what I mean? So it's going to be right around the corner. I'm just waiting for a demo, and I'm also waiting for a confirmation on their collector's edition. Because you know your boy Horror Gamer's got to get that collector's edition. He don't fuck around anymore. And hopefully it's a cool statue, you know what I mean? Because the last 3 collector's editions I got were Resident Evil 2 collector's edition, Resident Evil 3 collector's edition, and then Resident Evil Village collector's edition. And they all came with awesome statues. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section what you think. Are you guys excited for the new Resident Evil 4 remake? Are you guys kind of like me or on the fence about it, that they could have done something else? That Resident Evil 4 has been milked almost to death, and now they're going to try to do it with the remake. You know, let me know in the comment section. But like I said, regardless of what it is, it's Resident Evil, and I'm super excited for it. So, all right, horror. With all that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that ding-a-ling-ding-ding button. That way, every time your boy Horror Gamer throws up one of these awesome videos, you're in the know. And yeah, with all that being said, guys, I love you guys. Thank you guys. And until next time, this is your boy Horror Gamer saying, as always, don't fear the darkness. Embrace it.